day is long and the night is yours alone.
Here you go, bro.
Oh, it's not like that. I don't need money.
Huh?
I don't need money. I just need a friend.
I'll be your friend.
Really?
Yeah.
People, let me tell you about my best friend. He's a warm-hearted person who loved me till the end. People, let me tell you about my best friend. He's a one-boy cuddly toy, my up, my down, my pride and joy.
That was not fun.
Never doing that again.
Heck no.
Whether we're talking man to man or whether we're talking sun to sun, 'cause he's my best friend. Yeah, he's my best
After you.
Oh no, after you. After you.
All right, I need everybody to stand up. It's Friends Day. Everybody stand up real quick. We're going to sing a song that makes us feel like we're home, right? Like, this is what we do as friends. You guys ready? Help me out.
Sweet home Wenatchee, where the skies are so blue.
I don't feel like we got buy-in in here. Turn to your neighbor and say, it's not worship, we're just having fun. Come on, have fun with us. Okay, how'd it go? Sweet home Wenatchee, where the skies are filled with smoke, okay?
Sweet home Wenatchee, where the skies are so blue. Sweet home Wenatchee, Lord, I'm coming home to you. Lord, I'm coming home to you.
And you know it's true. Come on, let's give it up. Come on. Okay, you can have a seat. Sorry. We're just trying to have fun. I don't know why you cranked me up. I probably need to be turned down a little bit. Well, welcome to Awaken. I have some friends. When I was a kid, and I would yell out something that was real fun. I'd yell out, "Coo-loo-coo-coo-coo-coo-coo." And then they would respond with, "Coo-loo-coo-coo-coo-coo-coo." You guys got it? Can you guys respond? It's coo-loo-coo-coo-coo-coo-coo. Ready? So if you're my friend, I need you to respond. Ready? Coo-loo-coo-coo-coo-coo-coo. Okay. Well, hello. My name is Daniel, and I'm your friend. And we are a church that's after people that don't have a church home, don't have a friend, or don't know Jesus. And we would love to be that home. We would love to be your friends, and we would love to help you walk out this journey of finding the teachings of Jesus to be true and following them. So with that, we're in a series called 177 Tables. And I wanted to just start off and jump right into the most amazing story ever. Now, Jesus invites all of his best friends around a table. Now, when I think of Jesus, I have to stop because I'm a Christian. Even saying Christian may be confusing to some people. But I'll think, everybody thinks of Jesus like I do. And then I realized that that's not true. In fact, I went to an event, and the statistics say that people don't think the way a lot of mature believers think about who Jesus is. So let me start off and say this. The way I see Jesus is Jesus came to show us how to live. Jesus was God. Jesus came and lived a perfect life. If there was a better way to live as a friend, no one's seen it. He is the best friend that you can have, and he lived the best way of being a friend that you could possibly live. He died on a cross for our sins. But when I think of Jesus, I really see the best example and the ultimate hero of being a friend. Anybody else agree with me? Yeah. Even if you don't, just make some noise. Okay. I don't see a better example. And so the story we have today in John 13 is Jesus with his 12 disciples, which were his closest friends. And Jesus puts together a meal and has the table prepared, and he's going to show us what it looks like to be a friend. By the way, if you have a kid in the room, we got a group right now that's watching, and they make some noise. We can't hear them. There's an overflow room. We have a TV. It's turned off. We have couches, and you're welcome to go. I'm just like really ADHD, so I'll just move on. With that, I wanted to step in. So Jesus is at a table. He has this table, John 13, and here's what we learn from Jesus right off the bat. He has his friends. We're going to have this meal. It's like, okay, what does it look like to be the best friend of all time? And this is what we learn, is that real friendship starts with what? Everybody say serving. Oh, man. Grab your hand and say, did you hear that? Real friendship starts with serving. John 13, 1 through 5, it says this. Before the Passover celebration, Jesus knew that his hour had come to leave this world and return to his Father. He had loved his disciples during his ministry on earth, and now he loved them to the very end. Here's what I love about Jesus. He loved these guys. Do you love people in your life? Jesus loved them to the very end. That's who he is. And it goes on, it says it was supper time. So it was time for supper. And the devil had already prompted Judas, son of Simon Iscariot, to betray Jesus. Jesus knew that the Father had given him authority over everything, and that he had come from God and would return to God. Here's what I believe. Jesus has authority over everything. This may sound weird to you, but I think Jesus has the power to heal. I think Jesus has the power to protect. I think Jesus has power over everything. Anybody else in the room? Like, he has power to change lives. He has power to take addicts and turn them to saints. He has power. That's who he is. God had given him authority over everything. So he got up from the table. You can go to the next one there, Rugford. So he got up from the table, took off his robe, and wrapped a towel around his waist. I don't have my towel up here. I don't know where my towel went. Oh, it's over there. Can somebody grab me that towel right there? Because I like props. This towel right here, it represents Jesus' friendship. He takes a towel. Okay, when's the last time you invited all your friends to a meal, but then you had something weird planned? Anybody? See, that's my Jesus. You don't just show up to a meal. He has some creative adventure coming. It says this, he got up from the table. He wraps a towel around, took off his robe, wrapped a towel around his waist, and poured water into a basin. Then he began to wash the disciples' feet, drying them with the towel that he had around him. He loved them very much. And Jesus didn't just talk about love, Jesus lived it out. Here's what the event that I went to, they have this statistic of people that look into Christianity, look into the faith. And people around the world are starting to have a problem with Christians because they talk about love, but they don't actually love. They talk about, oh, we love lost, broken people. When's the last time you had someone at your table? Never. You don't care about, we talk about loving people, but when it comes to actually living it out, it's missing. So here's what I would say. Are you a believer if you actually believe that we're supposed to love others, but then you don't actually love them? Are you actually living that out? This is a problem that we're having. Jesus didn't talk about his love. He showed him that he loved him. Now, I love my wife. She's incredible. She is like my best friend, ride or die. And what's something that I learned from my parents, and I hope maybe today I can inspire some of you guys, is that my dad kind of taught me to be creative with my relationship. And so I had this idea that I would go out and we would go to what the town I call Seattle's ugly stepsister. It's Spokane. And I don't know where you want to go with that, but so we're going to go to this Spokane trip. I got a hotel room. I got a really nice one by the water. I got, we're gonna ride e-bikes. So we pull up, we get to the hotel. She's like, what are we doing? Because I didn't tell her, and she doesn't like that I do this, but I love this. And so I said, honey, we're staying at this hotel. She goes, oh, great. Well, then what else are we doing? I'm like, we're going to ride these e-bikes somewhere, but I'm not telling you where. So we get on them. Actually, they're scooters, and we ride scooters, and I take her to this place called Anthony's Homeport, which we were from the Snohomish area, and one of our dates when we were young is we went to Anthony's Homeport where they have like seafood. And so we went. It's very expensive. I got a table saved for us. And so we went and we ate this amazing meal. And she's like, oh, this is so good. I said, honey, it's not over yet. She's like, what are we doing? I said, well, let's get back on the little scooters. And we pull into this convention center. And I had picked out an event that I know I wouldn't like, which means she would love it. And so we walk in the door. I use my phone. She has no clue what we're going to. We walk up the stairs. She's like, what are we going to? There's nothing promoting it. I'm like, this is so cool. And then all of a sudden, she sees the cutout of this guy named Derek Huff. Is that how you say? How do you say it? Huff? See, exactly. I could care less. From Dancing with the Stars. It's a whole Dancing with the Stars thing. And she's like, oh, it's going to be so cool. And we sat up front, and the whole time they're dancing, sweat was flying at us. And I'm like, And Jess is like, ah. But either way, what's so cool is, think about it. Jesus teaches us in our friendships to serve, but serving is not, I'm doing the dishes. It's serving is taking time to spend energy to love somebody. It's taking time to make the dishes fun, making thanks. What it is really going out of your way to tell someone that you love them. And that's my Jesus. I love that. The more you serve, the stronger your friendships become. Serving builds a connection. It breaks pride. And serving shows love. And that's just a fact. But have you ever thought that every great friendship started with somebody that decided to care first? Yeah. And I wonder if today there are people in your life, if you would just take the time to go, you know, I got this person, I'm going to set up something wild and crazy and just see what happens. I want to serve my neighbor. I want to serve this person in my life that I think God's calling me to. See, that's what Jesus is inviting all of us to do, is to be like him, like how he treated his friends. If you want great friends, stop looking for people that serve you and start looking for people to serve. Come on, let's make some noise on that. Haven't you ever been there? I don't know if I like him. He just doesn't, you know. I don't know. I don't know if he's cool or nothing. I mean, he hasn't said any nice things to me. Stop being that person. Start being the person to look for opportunities to serve everyone else, and you will find people that start to come in your life that are just like that. See, Jesus teaches us real friendship starts with what? Serving. Jesus also teaches us serving will always test our heart. This is where Friends Day takes a little dark turn, but just bear with me. John 13:21 says this. Now Jesus was deeply troubled. He exclaimed, I tell you the truth, one of you will betray me. Has anybody been betrayed? Has anybody been through betrayal? Has anybody betrayed somebody? The disciples responded when Jesus said that. Is it me? Is it me? See, I think when people think of Judas, they think of Jafar from Aladdin, and they're like, that guy's clearly evil. You know what I'm talking about? In fact, someone in the last service sent me a picture of my face on Jafar's body. I don't know what that means, but clearly he's not evil. But what people think as Judas is so obvious. It's obviously him, but the reality is he looked like you and me. The difference is he had it in his head, but he didn't live it out. Even in the middle of serving, Jesus was hurt by a friend in betrayal. So here's the cool thing. If you're a perfect friend, Jesus was the perfect friend and he still got betrayed. What do you think's going to happen to you? The towel did not protect Jesus from being betrayed. He didn't go, "You can't betray me, I'm washing your feet." No, the towel just made it worse, didn't it? He had his little fingers in his toes. It's Judas. He's going to betray him for some money. Jesus is like, "Hey, you want to go to the kingdom? But guess where I'm going? I'm going to the cross." And Judas is like, "I don't want to go to the cross. I want to go to the kingdom. So I'm going to sell you out for money." And Jesus washes his feet, not because he deserves it, because Jesus wanted Judas to know that he loved him. The towel didn't protect him. At one point in Bible college, I was a janitor. Not a very good janitor, but I was a janitor. I worked at a 7-story building. It was a Presbyterian church. And it was huge. And I got called one day to a kid that had thrown up in one of the classrooms. Just nasty, just threw up. And I show up and they're like, "Hey, we need you to clean it up." "That's right, I'm pastor in training here. Going to clean this throw up." And I said, "Well, where's your squirt bottle that has the stuff, And they're like, "Oh, we don't know." And so I'm like trying to look all over. I couldn't find a squirt bottle. And so I had to go 7 stories down, go to the basement, get a squirt bottle, and come back up. I come back up. I have this squirt bottle. I'm ready to take on this disaster. Even though I hardly changed any diapers of my kids because I'd just start throwing up, I went for it. And I realized I didn't have any paper towels. And then I went, I'm going to have to go 7 stories down to get paper towels. But then I thought, you know what? I'll just check under this cupboard. So I opened the cupboard up. Guess what it was full of? Squirt bottles and paper towels. And out of my mouth went, "You'd have to be an idiot not to look under this sink." The lady that ran the preschool thought I called her an idiot. She's not an idiot. I'm the one cleaning. I called myself. I'm like, "You'd have to be an idiot." And she took it that I called her an idiot. They fired me on the spot. I remember I went down and the boss said, "Hey, I'm going to have to let you go because you called this lady an idiot." I said, "I would never call. You know me. I would never. That's not who I am." He goes, "I know, but that's how she felt, so I have to let you go." Have you ever felt betrayed? Like I'm the one cleaning the puke up, and you're going to just get rid of me? And you didn't even ask any questions. And man, you can serve people and be betrayed. And you can be betrayed by them. But here's what Jesus does. He washes the feet of the disciples. All but John left him. And he knew that they were going to leave, that they were going to go, "Oh, we don't want to die like you're dying." And so they all abandoned him. Jesus washes Peter's feet. Peter denied Jesus 3 times. The last time was a servant girl, like a slave girl. And Peter's like, "He's not my friend. I don't even know who he is." And then the rooster crows and Peter went, "Oh no, what have I done?" But you see, Jesus serves them, knowing that they would let him down, that they would betray him. That's the cost of friendship. But it's also the mark of Christ in your life. Can you believe it? Jesus didn't let betrayal change his calling. He loved anyways. Can I say that to you? How many people in the room, your ex hurt you, and so you're like, I will never marry anybody again. Well, so you just sleep around? You think that's a deeper form of love? I'm not going to let anybody get close to me. Did you know that's the enemy's playbook for your life, is to let you get to that place where you put walls up so no one gets into your life, when the reality is you need to put the towel around your waist and start serving people again. You know why? Because the enemy can't stop you from being who Jesus is. He can't stop you from becoming somebody amazing. Jesus didn't let it change him, but I so often see people get hurt, and so they allow it to direct all of the choices in their life. But you realize serving is not from a distance. Serving is close up. It's personal. He didn't say, I'm done serving. I'm not serving. He said, Father, forgive them, for they don't know what they're doing. Even though it kind of seemed like they did know what they were doing, Jesus said, Father, forgive them. Don't let the pain of betrayal make you quit the calling of serving. Don't let it. I was at a pastor's meeting. I got invited to go. All of the pastors had big churches. I mean, some have 20,000 people in their church. Their properties are worth like $100 million, just crazy. And this guy that ran the event, he said, hey, before we go into these statistics, I have a question for you. What is the burden that you're carrying right now? He said, I know you pastors carry these burdens. Like, what's this burden that's just like right now, it's just weighing on you? I want to know so that I know what to pray for. And 3 of the pastors of churches that are just massive, they said, is it worth it? When they said it, I went, what? They said, I'll just be honest with you, is it worth it? I couldn't believe they said it because really what they're saying is that they've been betrayed, and that betrayal hurts so bad that it makes them go, is it even worth it to keep going? But you know what the answer is and what Jesus would say? It's worth it. It's worth it that families come together. It's worth it that kids get taught the Word of God and know the Word of God. It's worth it that addicts turn around. Come on, it's worth it that people, turn together in a place to serve, a place to love, a place to encounter God. It's worth it, amen? But you know what betrayal does? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. But I'll tell you, it's worth it. You see, Jesus teaches us real friendship starts with serving. Jesus teaches us serving will always test your heart. And Jesus also teaches us this. True friends serve because of who they are, not how they're treated. It's who we are. John 13:15 says this. I have given you an example to follow. Do as I have done to you. Now, as a pastor, I get to take things that are complicated and make them simple. Let me take this very complicated Last Supper with a washing of a feet and make it very simple. Jesus said, love people enough to spend creativity on finding ways to serve them. That's what he said. Jesus didn't serve because anybody earned it. He served because it's who he is. Aren't you glad that our God is a God that serves? But shouldn't that impact your life? Real friends don't wait to be appreciated. They act out of love. And betrayal, it reveals people's hearts, but it also refines people's hearts. When you keep serving through pain, you look like the most like Jesus. When you've been betrayed, but you still serve your kid, you look like Jesus. The world needs to see friendships that are faithful, forgiving, and serving. Amen? So to do that, we're going to bring something in right now. Let me say that again. The world needs to see friendships that are faithful, forgiving, and serving. So with that, we're going to bring in the Kiss Cam. Are you guys ready? Let's give it up for the Kiss Cam. Sorry. You guys might be in this. I don't know.
Been reading books of old, the legends and the myths, Achilles and his gold, Hercules and his gifts, Spider-Man's control, and Batman with his fist. And clearly I don't see myself upon that list. She said, where'd you wanna go? How much you wanna risk? I'm not looking for somebody with some superhuman gifts, some superhero.
Ethan, you're gonna have to tell Katura that I think something's going on with you know, like this whole Coldplay thing. I don't know where my man. This whole Coldplay thing. This couple, this person that's married to someone else is doing this stuff. The world doesn't need to see more of that, right? Come on. How many of you guys know that God's called us to serve, but part of serving is serving someone that you don't necessarily always love at that exact moment. But you don't serve them because they've done stuff for you. You serve them because of who you are, because it's who you are. Jesus called Judas a friend in the garden. Judas walked up and gave him a kiss on the cheek, and Jesus said, hey, friend. You know why? Because Jesus is still friends of sinners. It's who he is. There's nothing you can do that makes Jesus go, I will never have that person in my life. He's never stopped being who he was. He's a servant, he's a savior, and he's a friend. That's who Jesus is. You'll never see Jesus be something else. You can't control how people treat you. You can't. But you can control how you respond. And what Jesus says is to respond by never giving up serving. Just don't give up serving. You know, when me and my wife were dating, it's really hard. But we made a commitment not to sleep with each other until we got married. And you know why? Because I had a father that taught me that when my wife walks across that little threshold, that you weren't the one to mess that up, that she walked pure and blameless. And I'm telling you, it wasn't just because my dad said that, it's because God said it. And I felt like to honor God, we needed to be pure in our marriage. You know, I sit in the golf cart with guys all the time, and they just sit like, not just golf cart, but different stuff. And I'm so glad people are open and honest with me. But they're like, you're a pastor. I really don't like my wife. Give me some advice. I said, I don't think you want to hear my advice. If you're a believer, it doesn't matter if you like her. You love her with the way you treat her. You love her whether she's worthy of being loved or not. You don't stop just because you get older and things look different. You don't trade her in for a new model. You love her as she is because that's who you are. But think about it. I didn't get that because look at that. I got that from the Bible. That's how Jesus treats us. He loves us even when we're not worthy. He doesn't give up on us. He doesn't abandon us. There's no height. There's no depth. There's nowhere that we can go where God won't find us. And that kind of love, that's what the world's hungry for. Not the Coldplay, whatever you want to call it, betrayal. You were made to serve, and it's who you are. And I know there are people in this room, you're like, I don't really like serving. Well, it doesn't mean you have to stand in the parking lot or help with the kids, but God's called you to serve the people in your life. Put some energy into it. That's what love looks like. You invite them to a meal, but you had something weird planned as well. Think about it. Why? Because God is love and He lives inside of you, and you can't help but love these people in your life. You were made to serve. When my wife and I don't get along, it doesn't change the fact that I love her. Because love isn't what I receive, it's what I give. It's a choice. Doesn't mean that I don't love her. We can fight, but you know what's never an option is the divorce word. And you know why? Because she can go so far off track, and I will never stop loving her, and I'll never stop living in a way that lifts her up regardless of how she lifts me up. But you want to know what? I get some really good food. I have a nice car. I could go hunting and golfing all the time, and I think it's because of the way I love her, but I don't know. Maybe she just doesn't want me at the house. It doesn't matter. She's like, take your love somewhere else. Keep the towel. Keep serving. Keep loving. That's what Jesus would say to us, friends. You know, I wanted to tell you guys this. Maybe you didn't know this. For those of you that like something deep, did you know there were 2 Judases in Jesus' disciples? There was Judas 1 and Judas 2. The other Judas changed his name to Thaddeus. Some would also call him Jude, but his name was Judas. He changed his name later, as any of us would, because Judas is connected to the guy that turned Jesus in. But did you know the second Judas also betrayed Jesus? When Jesus went to the cross, the second Judas ran. He didn't meet. Only John sat at the foot of the cross. Which, by the way, when you serve people, you might have 11 people that bail on you, but you'll have one that will never leave you. But Judas realized who Jesus was, and he turned his life back, and he recommitted his life to the mission of Jesus, to living the way Jesus taught him, to inviting people to the table, but washing their feet. Like Judas lived it out. He wasn't just a guy that talked Christian stuff. He became a full believer of Jesus. And you know what the Bible, or what we find out later, is that Judas ended up going and praying for King Agabar in Turkey, that he'd be healed, and he was healed. And because the king got healed, he turned the whole area into the epicenter of the Christian faith. And did you know at that time, there was no bigger place that was full of Christians in that area, and it's because of the Judas that turned back to God. But did you know that Judas that betrayed Jesus hung himself? He hung himself. He killed himself. He didn't turn back to God, but you know what? At the foot of the cross was blood dripping, and Jesus going, forgive them. And if Judas just would have turned back and said, I'm sick of living for myself, how did it work? It killed him. Yeah, I would guess there's people in this room today. You would want to be the believer that lives all in for Jesus, but so many people can relate more to the Judas that betrayed Jesus than the Judas that turned to Jesus. But Jesus would say to you today, you have a choice ahead of you. Just turn to me. I love you. I've never stopped serving you. I've never stopped pursuing you. He put me here today. He put your friend that drugged you here today. That's who he is. But you have to make a choice. When we serve others, it echoes into eternity. You may not know the little things, but when I serve my kids, I remember I'm serving them and they're so mean to me. But I just really believed one day they would see what I did. That God would get into their heart and it would just infect them. I just believe when we serve, it echoes into eternity. I want to ask you this question today. What is a Christian? You know what Jesus would say? Well, first, a Christian is a little Jesus. That's a Christ one. It's you so look like Jesus that they say, wow, you look like Jesus. You're a Christian. And you know what a Christian is? Somebody that serves others. And serving others is not just, okay, I'll do the dishes. Like, that's chores. Get over it. Serving others is taking time to love people in a creative way. That's what serving others is. We were watching the Mariners game Friday. Wasn't that a marathon? Yeah. 15 innings. I had to go to the bathroom. I couldn't stop watching. So I ran, and there was a lady here with her kids cleaning the church. And I went, oh, what are you doing here? It's Friday. She's like, hey, sorry, I didn't know you guys were here. I wouldn't have been here. I was like, what are you doing here? And she's just cleaning the church. We don't pay her. She's never got recognition. What would make her do that? I think she loves you. I think that's more powerful than anything said on a stage. Someone that goes into the bathroom, especially the men's, we only have one toilet. But if you'd like to donate, we'd love your money because we're going to have great bathrooms. But think about this. She goes in and cleans with her kids, and I don't know what it looks like, but I can just imagine, hey, we're going to clean this church because God's going to use this for his glory. Just took me by surprise. You realize when we serve, we're most like Jesus. I want to close with this. Maybe you've been betrayed. Maybe a friend has walked away from you. I could totally relate. But Jesus understands the pain because he's been there too. He's been betrayed. But he also shows us the way forward. Pick up the towel and start serving again. Your Friends Day isn't about who's at the table, who's in your life as your friends. Today's Friends Day is about what friends in your life has God called you to serve. And I'm not, I'll just say it. Jesus didn't call us to serve like the world serves. He called us to be creative, recklessly loving people that may never love us back, and just not stop doing it. As we close with this, I want to say this. We have chairs on the left. There's some water. It's a creativity of Jesus to wash people's feet. You can go up a slide. And if you're here today and you have betrayed somebody, or you have been betrayed, or you are alone, you've been living in betrayal, or shoot, you just love the friend you have enough to be weird enough to go, I'm just going to wash your feet over. Hey, we have some chairs over here. We have some chairs over here. I just wanted to give people an opportunity to do something that's a little personal. But I love this. Close with this. John 15:13. There's no greater love than to lay down one's life for one's friend. That's Jesus. That's what serving is. I lay my life down to lift someone else up. I want to pray with you guys today. Father, in fact, before I even pray, hey, if you're here today and you don't know where you'd go if you died today, you don't know if you'd go to heaven or you'd go to hell, you really think about it. You're here today and you're like, man, I want to know that I know. Here's the thing that I can tell you today. Jesus, you can have assurance today if you give your life to Jesus. And if you're in the room today with every head bowed, eyes closed, just for the privacy of someone, but at the same time, giving them the ability, if you would like to give your life to Jesus or recommit your life to Jesus, would you just raise your hand in the room? No one's going to shame you. No one's going to, just raise your hand in the room if that's you. Anybody in the room, I see your hand. I see your hand. Anybody else? I see your hands. I see hands all over. Can we all just pray this prayer together? Can you keep your hand up just for a sec? I have someone that wants to chase you down just in a loving way. Keep your hand up. We're gonna pray this prayer together. But if with everybody's head bowed and eyes closed, if you're praying this prayer, you're not betraying. You're raising your hand and say, Jesus, I give you my life right now. Would you pray this prayer with me? Jesus, I know that I've sinned. I've betrayed you. I've fallen short. But I know that you died for my sin, defeating sin and death. Jesus, I know that you rose from the grave. Raise me from the dead. I give you my life. I choose to serve like you served. You got all of me. Come on, can we make some noise for those that prayed that prayer this morning? You guys can stand up and, hey, if you have the audacity, if you're here today, I love when people are just abandoned and reckless. They're just like, I need a breakthrough in my life. Go sit in a chair. Someone will wash your feet and pray with you. If you need to grab your husband or wife and say, today's a start over, go grab that chair and wash their feet. If you just don't even know why you want it, just go over there and watch someone wash your feet. Go over there too. We love you. Let's sing the song.